guys, Guido coming at you with a Tactics Talk. I have a replay analysis here for you, sent in by SuperTank Driver, STD. I just noticed that. That's pretty funny. SuperTank Driver is in his E25 preferential premium German Tier 7 TD, and he is top tier. In fact, he's so top tier there's only 2 Tier 7s on his side. One of the other side's Tier 7's actually an Artie. He should have been salivating on this. So he sent this into the forums and asked for some advice on how he could carry. I believe it was titled something to the extent of "I can't carry." Let's find out. I am unable to carry matches is what it says. So let's take a look at this as he drives his E25. And I will say that right away, I was not excited about his positioning. So this tank excels at not being seen, spitting out damage very quickly, and if needing to reposition, then repositioning, either following up the flow or running away. And what SuperTank Driver is going to do is he's going to use it more as a scout early on. So you've got your top tier, Tier 7, brutally effective TD going up to the middle and being something of a scout, and then coming over and sniping shots. And right away puts the lie to what I said and starts wrecking people a little bit. Well, that's good. So the unaware that gets spotted, that you're able to pop up over on right here, can certainly eat shots. However, for my money, I'd have been over in this area. There's actually a bush up in here that can be used, or maybe it's a little bit closer. And he's going to continue here. Now, if you wanted to come here initially, and there's the danger of what you're doing, if you wanted to come here initially and do a little scouting, take a couple free shots on the unaware, that's outstanding. From there, I'd have skedaddled. Now, they have a lot of customers over there. Look at how many guys, for whatever reason, they're down in the middle, very exposed. They're up in here. If you were near where that M8 is, M4, Easy 8, or back in here, the shots you would have down in this area would be amazing, and those guys would melt quickly. Because what's one of the biggest strengths of this tank? The rate of fire. And while you're droning around in the middle here, not really collecting much in the way of spotting or anything, or even shots, your gun is silent. Also, this is extremely dangerous right here. The tank has a low profile, so it can do this better than most. It doesn't have to expose a whole bunch of itself. It doesn't have a tall superstructure like a lot of TDs do, sticking up above its gun. But they also have a lot of Artie. So if I'd have been analyzing this game, if I was STD, SuperTank Driver, I'd have seen all that Artie. I'd have seen I was top tier. I'd have seen, more than likely, I would have felt that I was about to have a big day, and I'd have gone over to the one line. And the beauty of the E25, and this is a good idea here, looking over on the side, unfortunately, I'll get back to my other point in a minute. Unfortunately, you just don't have anyone up here spotting for you. So you're unlikely to see anyone there. Spend some time staring where you're not going to see any targets. So the beauty about the E25, like I was talking about, is if you went to the middle, got a few shots, and then flexed over to the one line, and then noticed nobody was there, it's so fast it can get somewhere else if it needs to. But spinning around and around in the middle like a relatively bad scout, not that you're a bad player, but the tank is not a great scout, other than its speed and small size. And you can see that your team is starting to lose out right here. And I really think you'd have been able to change the fight over on the one line hugely. There you go, you found a Chaffee up there. Looks like the Hellcat finally moved up. I always hate it when guys drive in front of me. They didn't mean to do it, but you're trying to get that shot, and there's your friend. And then this IS just hangs out and starts getting seen. And finally, we're going to get our gun barking here. And absolutely, those shots are there. So, and this is what I'm talking about on the E25. Look how fast it fires. He's got the side of an IS. He's just tearing them up. Uh-oh. Ended up getting spotted and got to run away. Lit the IS on fire. That's outstanding. Didn't look like he had any kind of fire extinguisher. Now you've got to play the game with the T1. Is the T1 going to come over, pop, and light me? Am I going to have time to take out this IS? Yeah, I would have taken that shot too. Just maybe it drops down on him. I don't know how that hit him. that was good though. And then another one. That was amazing. Good work on those. So helping out your team. Now if you check over on the 1-2 line, and this is the part that's a weird artifact in the video. I don't know what's going on there. If you take a look at how the battle's going, obviously you're losing, so carry pants have got to come on at this point, and this is probably the side that you're having trouble. There's some bushes back here. You could have went over and investigated what's going on. Another option would have been to actually push over into this area. The problem you're about to run into here is you're going to get sandwiched. That's helpful. Get their scout out. Oh, there's another one. And you're spotted. Ooh, that hurt. And there's the M12. So you were running around the middle so much, the M12 learned of your position, took note of it, and now you are his target. And you lost a lot of hit points right there. Once your team starts getting down to low numbers, there's just fewer targets for the arty. So if he may have been ignoring you for your speed or your wiliness to begin with, and it looks like they're all on you now, you can tell that. There's another one. If they ignored you at the beginning because of your speed and small size and wiliness, there's just fewer targets now. So anytime you're spotted, you can expect to take aggro. And this is the reposition part on the E25. Fast enough to get somewhere else. There you go. Find that T67. Again, no idea how you hit that. Oh man, I didn't even know he was even in that spot. There you go. Nice shot. There you go. Excellent. This guy's a little more heavily armored. So you got to kind of get to the side of his turret. Yeah, just definitely take those shots. Now, paying attention to, again, there's only 3 of you at this point. The M4 is kind of doing this spotting thing. I think you even told him in here not to fire, which is a good idea. You are a bit exposed there, but it's a good position height-wise. There's your IS that you couldn't kill earlier. There he goes. And again, we've got to have the carry pants on here. We've got the Hellcat. Unfortunately, for whatever reason, the Hellcat has come off the hill, come over to here, and he's reacting to these guys. But of course, the IS was still trolling around. For my money, the Hellcat up on the hill would have been a much better idea. That doesn't have anything to do with what you're doing, obviously. Well, it has something to do with what you're doing, but you can't control where he goes. And maybe it's time now to reposition. I know there's a target there, noted, but perhaps you could get up on the hill yourself. You'd have had a better angle at that M4, A3, E2, and a little bit more protection and cover for any other guys. And there goes the Hellcat. Looks like he's heading up there. And you click there to tell him to go up the hill. That's good. Little pub whispering never hurts. Trying to coordinate some kind of defense here. Yeah, I like that you zoom in to kind of look and then zoom out to take a little essay. That's going to definitely help. So while there's a bit of a lull, you kill this guy, I believe. Let's talk about what's happening here. You've got 1900 to 755 hit points, and I'm telling you, I think had you gone over to, avoiding arty and everything else, had you gone over to the 1 line and whittled some of these hit points down, you wouldn't be anywhere near as bad a position right now. It's more than likely you're going to get lit doing this. I think you're going to lose your M4 here pretty quickly. I'd have just fired in there. You're probably trying to not get spotted, but you may have got a hit on him. That M4 is in trouble. Spotted 3 arty, there's just not much you can do right there. Watch this go for a little bit. Of course, you've got another T60. Actually, the T67's right there, but you got the 100Y trolling around somewhere, and there goes the arty, took him out. Holy cow, there's the 100Y. I like that you came down the hill a little bit, so when you started firing, maybe you didn't get seen by the T67, but you're sandwiched now, so you've got to use the agility and speed of this thing and get out of this position. Yeah, pretty predictable. Unfortunately, the Hellcat ends up getting killed. Of course, I talked about, hey, go up the hill. The 100Y was smart enough to go up and clear it off. Moving up, trying to find this guy. We get quite a cat and mouse game at this point. Track him, put him on that back, not right in the side, put it on that back wheel and try to track him out. He took a while to shoot. I think you were backing up so you could get behind the bushes, make them opaque so they couldn't see you. And you may have been trying to shoot the sprocket, but definitely you wanted to try to track him. Who knows if he'd used his repair kit yet, but if he hadn't, more than likely you'd have had him. But I do understand the need at that point to stay unspotted, because had you just fired and been spotted, you might have been able to kill him by the time he got his turret around and started firing. But more than likely, the arty would have been all over you. And that LEFH aims in pretty quick. And of course, you're so low hit points, the M12 only has to get sort of near you, take you out. Of course, the question here is, and more than likely when you put the post in there, you were talking about this phase of the battle. What should I have done in this phase of the battle to win? The problem is that your initial positioning and decisions is what got you here. So we already discussed what those should be, and this just works out for you. I mean, that guy breaks cover when you're right there, unknown why. Absolutely knocked down the building. There you go. Lots of DPM on this thing, and or rate of fire, so knocking down buildings doesn't hurt you very much. You catch the edge of him, he just sticks his rear out for you. Bad essay on his part. Now they know he died, and they know where he died, so they have an idea of your general area now. So it's good to start moving. There you go, you find this guy now. He sees you. And he misses you. Holy cow, there's the HMC. The arty, for whatever reason, just decided to come out, and you're just blasting guys. Oh my gosh. Nice job, you did it though. Alright, so here you are facing off the 67. More than likely the 100Y is not very close. So you have an opportunity to beat this guy right here. And as I recall, you kind of run away. I like that you're doing this because you're trying to disappear. You went a little high there. You may have actually still seen you. And now you're just going to run away. I don't know. I may have tried to reposition just a little bit here and then poked up over and tried to shoot him. But it's not a bad idea to move away. Ideally, you want to see him before he sees you from these bushes, which I believe ends up happening here. You get behind that bush. I'd get a little more forward in that bush just because the side of your tank is really hanging out from several directions here. If you got into it a little bit more, you'd have been a little better off. You know, had he come around this way doesn't really matter because more than likely you're going to see him crest before he gets anywhere where you can see your left side. He's a pretty good player, and there he is. He's over there. He's going to poke up, and I would have shot right there, man. Just take that shot. Nice thing about this tank is you take that shot and miss. You missed that one, unfortunately. Had you taken that shot and missed, and he saw you, if that's what your concern was, by the time he got up and pointed at you, you'd be shooting again. So he knows you're over there, and he's out. It's time to repo again. There you go. I'm going to tell you a really nice place to position to would be in these bushes up here, in this area, up high, where you can scan this entire approach. And again, this thing fires so fast, by the time he gets his gun on you, unless he's very lucky with a snap and a high roll, you could probably gun him down before he can react. The trick, of course, will be, holy cow, the 100Y seeing you, which he did, unfortunately. Now, once you're unspotted, you're at the edge of his spotting. Once you're unspotted here, chogy up into those bushes right up behind you there. I think you might have been thinking about it and then decided against it. Of course, you're being collapsed on by both of them, so that's going to be difficult. And I would say end game for you, maybe just a little too much moving around. Grab a bush and wait it out a little bit. Use this thing's strength of its stealth a little bit more, because those two tanks don't necessarily have great vision range, and you might have been able to catch one out. I believe it ends poorly here as we get seen. You're kind of just driving up on top of the road and highlighting yourself right there, but you get to the bush. That's good. 100Y is wisely moved away from that position. Exposed on that ridge, you'd get machine gunned by you more than likely. He knows you're trying to find a bush to camo snipe him, and I'll break out into the open again here. And unfortunately gets seen, and now he's got the advantage on you because he's got that fast reload and he's already pointing at you. And there you go. So you kind of knew once they saw you in this area, they're going to start collapsing in. Driving down into this open was not a great idea, and if you were going to do that, if your intention was to get over here, you should have just shogied as fast as possible. But I'd have definitely grabbed a bush in this area somewhere and hung out just a little bit more. Again, they're collapsing on you, so you may have to move end game, scuttle out of there if you get seen. But at least you're not driving around getting seen, which you did twice right in there. Nice job though, you got close, but I think it all really boils down to your initial positioning problems. Had you stripped some of their HP on that 1 and 2 line, and maybe even in the middle, being able to fire down from up in here, you may not have even got to that point. All right, man. Hope this helps. Catch you later.